Hello, everyone, and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. Looks like we had a little bit of lagging, a little bit of issues jumping in today. So the timer may not have shown up for you guys, but this is the MLB DFS Core Pick video, Core Pick live stream for today. I guess it is Wednesday, June 26th at this point in time. Did not have a video yesterday, unfortunately, so we will not be doing a recap of yesterday's picks. Monday ended up being pretty good, if I remember correctly, for us overall. At least a 3x day at minimum for me, so hopefully you guys had a similar type of day. So I do see there's a comment in here that says yes as well. So hopefully we get through the stream without some major lagging, because that's kind of how it started at this point in time. Once again, do appreciate anybody that is joining for today overall. But what I do have for today is going to be going through the weather report. Any game that does have a double-digit chance of rain. There's only 5 games on the main slate tonight. There is 7 games like in the evening time in total this in the evening, but one is a doubleheader. I believe the other one's a makeup game. So only 5 ended up on the main slate just in general. And we'll look at some of the lineups there, talk through anything that's kind of notable. It doesn't really look like too much in that regard today. After that, we'll get moved over to FanDuel. I do have for tonight. Going to be a very interesting day at pitcher. I think it's going to be one that you want to mix and match quite a bit just in general. And then after that, we'll get over to our 4 hitters for the core picks. They are going to be guys based on their past history versus their respective opponent, as well as some recent success as well. And then last but not least, we'll get over to cheat sheet, talk about any GPPs there. Talk about my top GPP stacks for tonight's slate overall. Going to be a pretty interesting one. Probably going to be a good slate to mix and match, especially with the smaller 5-game main slate. Excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself just a little bit here. But with that being said, if anybody has any questions at any point in time, feel free to drop them in the live chat and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible, and we'll pop them up on the screen as well. But without further ado, we get over to that weather report. There's 2 games, and even since I made my notes, the weather's changed very slightly, but in Boston, 21% chance of rain there. Looks like everything should be good, though. Wind's blowing out at 10 miles an hour, though, so that's a pretty good one. Could be an interesting day for this Red Sox team in terms of stacking, especially going against Yariel Rodriguez with the wind blowing out. Well, we'll see how that goes altogether. No real notable things from this game in terms of lineups or anything else like that. And then we move down to the Yankees, who have no Gleyber Torres in the Well, you move down to the Yankees, the Mets, 26% chance of rain here. So that one moved up ever so slightly, but should be good to go either way. The major note for the Yankees, no Gleyber Torres tonight, as Waldo Cabrera is going to start in his place. And we do see J.D. Davis and Ben Rice both starting for tonight's game. And J.D. Davis is actually going to hit 4th in the lineup tonight. And then keep moving down. So the Dodgers and the White Sox, the only real notable thing there is that Teoscar Hernandez is returning to the lineup tonight. He's going to hit 2nd. And then Austin Barnes is starting at catcher. And then down. Don't have a lineup for the Twins yet. Don't have a lineup for the Cubs, and don't have a lineup for the Giants. The interesting thing now is the Cubs did push Shota Imanaga back to tomorrow. So Hayden Wesneski will get the start versus major league debut of Hayden Birdsong tonight. So we have a Hayden matchup just in general. Could be a decent one to stack potentially. Maybe on both sides. It just kind of depends on how it all shakes out. Wind is blowing out 11 miles an hour there, but it's only 60 degrees out in San Francisco tonight. So that's a pretty cool one for out in California at this time of year. And other than that, we don't really have too many notable lineup things at this point in time. If there's anything else that is notable, I'll leave it down in the comments below as those lineups do pop up. Hopefully we get them at a reasonable time. Otherwise, I might not get a chance to see it just with how today is structured, with how tonight's going to be structured too as well. A very busy day for myself. But with all that being said, let's get over to FanDuel and talk about some core picks. So let me bring up FanDuel here as we're talking through everything. And, once again, core picks, it's going to be based on a combination of past performance versus a respective opponent, as well as some recent history. For the most part, like I said, today it's going to be a very interesting day to mix and match at the pitcher position. Look like we're lagging a little bit as I'm bringing up this page, so I do apologize for that. I'm going to close out of the RotoWire tab while we're on this too to see if I can speed things up at any bit at all. I know probably a little bit of lag in here today once again, so I do apologize for that. We'll bust out the bigger laptop probably in the coming days, maybe tomorrow. Might end up being Friday by the time I get to it, but we will be much improved once we do that. And then for the core picks that I do have for today, And this brought up a whole lineup that I had kind of saved up. So this was just kind of my dummy lineup that I put in this morning. So let me get rid of the guys that are not core picks at this point in time. And we're going to start off at pitcher with Gavin Stone. He's 30 fantasy points is what he's averaging so far on the season. Goes against Chicago White Sox tonight. He has no career history versus them. So there's not like a true pitcher that stands out tonight. I just kind of went with Gavin Stone as kind of the high-end upside guy. He's a very interesting pitcher. He's had some good performances this year. He's had some bad performances this year. And does have 8 wins on the season. The ERA just over 3 at 3.04. Once again, averaged about 30 fantasy points per game. And if you see kind of what he's done lately, it's been pretty good for the most part. So definitely do like him as kind of that safer play at that pitcher position tonight. Obviously, if you want to go with an upside, Luis Gil's out there. There's a couple other guys as well, but going to make for a pretty interesting slate. Definitely mixing and matching at that position if you are playing multiple lineups whatsoever. Then we're going to move down to catcher with Ryan Jeffers, $2,900. We just got to make sure that he is in that starting lineup once again. Goes against Ryan Nelson tonight. He is 2 for 2 with 1 home run versus Ryan Nelson in his career. Obviously, Ryan Jeffers did have a really, really strong start to the season. He's kind of cooled off since then, so he's only at a 236 average. 13 home runs, 41 RBIs, averaging over 10 fantasy points per game at $2,900. So not a bad value there. He is on a modest 6-game hitting streak, although he has no multi-hit games during that time span. 1 home run and 2 double-digit performances and 3 performances of at least 9 fantasy points. So we're looking for at least 9. We'd like to get that double-digit out of him tonight. It looks like a pretty good matchup for him just in general. And hopefully it's kind of that first double or his first multi-hit performance for him in quite some time. Then we're going to move down to J.D. Davis, third baseman. You can also play him at first base, $2,300. Looks like a really good value option. Hitting fourth for the New York Yankees tonight, going against Sean Manaea. He's 2 for 6 with 1 home run versus Sean Manaea in his career. And on the season so far, it's a 230 average, 4 home runs, 5 RBIs. Obviously, he recently did join the Yankees, so not going to write too much into what he's done as of late because it's his second game with the Yankees. Before that, he hadn't played in over 10 days. So not going to write too much into that at this point in time, but do like him quite a bit as value play and kind of this Yankees team overall. And speaking of Yankees, we got Aaron Judge here, $4,900. He is 5 for 12 with 2 home runs for Sean Manaea in his career. It's up to a 304 average, 29 home runs, 75 RBIs, averaging about 16 fantasy points per game at $4,900. So obviously a hefty price tag, but probably worth it once again tonight. If you look at what Aaron Judge has done lately, he's had at least 1 hit in 8 out of his last 9 games. Only 2 multi-hit games during that time span. So maybe a little bit concerned we're there for this price tag of $4,900, but he's got 4 home runs during that time span, 5 double-digit performances, so it still looks all right at the same time. And once again, always does have that high-end upside of Aaron Judge, and he's looking actually pretty healthy right now at this point in time. And then last but not least, we got Teoscar Hernandez at $3,600 making his return. I do believe, I'm not sure if his absence, he went back home, I believe, to the Dominican. Some people said it was for a death in the family or something else like that. No, it's the family. So hopefully everything's okay with that. If it was a death in the family, obviously condolences go out to him and his family. But he has pretty good history versus Eric Fetty in the past. So 3 for 4 with 2 home runs versus Eric Fetty, the expected starting pitcher for the Chicago White Sox tonight. Does have at least 1 hit in 4 out of his last 6 games, although only 1 multi-hit game tonight. 1 multi-hit game during that time span, 1 home run, 3 double-digit performances. Oddly enough, guys tonight have not had a lot of multi-hit games, but they got really good history versus their respective opponent and still doing fairly well at the same time as of late. So these are the 5 that I do have tonight. Obviously, you can feel free to mix and match some other ones in there as you see fit. And obviously, some of that will be mentioned with the cheat sheet, which is up on the Sports Affiliation website. We'll be getting over there in just a second. But if you go with the 5 that I do have listed here, you have $11,500 remaining, just under $2,900 per player. So going to have to sneak in some of that value tonight. But once again, pretty good slate to mix and match with it being 5 games without a true standout pitcher. So get creative on tonight's slate overall. It would probably be a slate that I would play just a little bit lighter in general as well. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to cheat sheet and talk about my top GPP teams to stack for tonight's slate overall. Once again, if anybody does have any questions whatsoever, feel free to drop them in the live chat as we're going through this. Otherwise, I will be staying, probably 2-3 minutes after kind of my little rundown of the core picks and everything else like that. But if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to drop them and we'll try to answer them as best as possible. I'm going to close out of my old tab. We got the cheat sheet up now at this point in time. Once again, this cheat sheet is 100% free. It's up on the sports affiliation website. So definitely feel free to use it as a resource as you're building out your lineups for tonight's slate overall. But the 3 teams that I do have in terms of the top GPP stacks for tonight, and honestly, you could probably mix and match all 10 teams tonight, just because there is no true standout pitcher once again. But got the Yankees going against Sean Manaea. Some of these hitters have hit him really well in the past. So Aaron Judge is going to be the main one. JD Davis, obviously, if you want to mix and match some other guys besides them, you can definitely do that at the same time as well. And then we have the Red Sox going against Yariel Rodriguez. I believe he's making his fifth or sixth start at the major league level. Second start back from the IL. Kind of on a pitch count in that first start back. Wasn't that great overall. Wind's blown out. Looks like a pretty good spot for the Red Sox tonight. And then the Cubs going against Hayden Birdsong making his MLB debut. There is some upside to be had there. There also could be some pretty significant downside at the same time as well. So those are kind of the 3 that I do have at this point in time. Obviously, not like a long list of history, not anything that we can really point to as we're building out our lineups tonight. But once again, would be a slate that I recommend getting creative overall, probably playing a little bit less than you would on a typical day, But with that being said, that's pretty much what I do have for today, in terms of the weather report, in terms of looking at some of those starting lineups, the core picks, and the top GPP stacks. Once again, if you have any questions whatsoever, I'll be sticking around for probably like 2-3 more minutes. Drop them in the live chat. Otherwise, if you're watching this video after the stream's over, if you're watching and it's kind of ending, just throw it down in the comments and I'll try to get back to you as quickly as possible. For those of you who also follow my CFL DFS content, I will be recording that video after this one. Got to edit it, got to do a couple other things tonight, so that one should be up later tonight as well. But with that being said, that's pretty much what I do have for the MLB DFS Core Pick stream for today. Once again, do appreciate each and every one tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. If you are a new or if you are brand new to my channel, checking out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, is what I meant to say, really. But if you're one of those people, feel free to hit that like button, hit the thumbs up button, like button, thumbs up button, same thing. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss out on any of this content. Once again, with it being the transition this week, 4:30 Central Time, 5:30 Eastern Time is when I'll be doing these live streams Monday through Friday. Obviously, if there's an earlier slate, then won't be able to get to that. But once again, for those of you who don't know, I did start a new full-time job on the side too as well. We're working from about 7 to 3, so it's a little bit tougher to put out the core pick videos in the morning unless I'm getting up at like 4 a.m. or something like that, and then recording at 8 and putting up and everything else like that, which is a little bit more taunting with MLB DFS because we don't even get the price tags till like 9:15 Central Time at night most nights. So definitely do appreciate each and every one of you supporting the live stream. If you have any questions whatsoever, drop them in the live chat. Otherwise, drop them down in the comments. I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Probably staying around here for another minute or so. But if you are also interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting whatsoever, feel free to check out those links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS, Prize Picks, and Parlay Play. If you're a brand new user on any one of those 3 sites, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Parlay Play and Prize Picks, it's 100% match up to $100. And then for BetUS, it's 125% match, I believe still up to $2,500. And I did see some recently that they're doing it for like the first 3 deposits now. So that's a pretty good opportunity to get out there and do some of that if you're interested in it. If you have any questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to let me know, whether it's down in the comments or on Twitter at coachcraigsp, and be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But once again, with that being said, don't look like there's any other questions popping in. So that is what I do have for the live stream, for the video for today. Hopefully each and every one of you have a great rest of your day. Some pretty good luck in MLB DFS for tonight's slate overall. And hopefully we'll be seeing you tomorrow for the live stream as well.